Hey YouTube, it's been a while. I've been kind of busy on a lot of things, but right now I'm going to take out a little bit of time. I'm in the workshop again, as you might be told. It's changed around a little bit, but I'm not going to give a tour on that today because I haven't quite finished doing a couple of things to it. But it's a special weekend because it's a free listing weekend on eBay, which means that I get to throw up all the stuff that I'm not sure will sell, but I'd quite like to get rid of. Now, recently, my brother gave me something interesting that he got from I don't know where, but it's a robot. Unfortunately, he moved house lately as well, so it got left in the back garden. It's been rained on, which is not particularly. But I'm really amazed by this thing. But it's far too big to keep, really. That's just here. This little fella is a Tomy Armstrong, and I would have absolutely killed for something like this when I was little. This is basically a ride-on electric car, but it's got robot arms. And not only that, they are controllable. It's got a loud hailer with 3 different like sirens on it, and the eyes light up when you talk. I would have killed for this as a kid. I didn't even know it existed, and it's possibly even older than I am. I've managed to find really sketchy information about the thing. I mean, I found there's a particular robot toy archive, which I'll link to in the description, which has a little bit of information about it. They just say they're manufactured in the 80s. So, you know, 1980 onwards, it could potentially be as old as me, slightly older than me. I don't know, but it's amazing. It's just like, this is a toy for kids. Oh, seriously, this would be amazing. So, unfortunately, you left in the rain. I don't know how, before that was the case, what state it was in. I've cleaned most of the mud off it. You can still see bits here and there. It'll give you an idea what the state inside might be. All I know is it's been, over its life, it's been poorly cared enough for that the screws are a little bit rusty and you can't move the switch there anymore. It's got so rusted, so I'm not holding out a lot of hope for any functionality. And I'm hoping the motor will be alright, but as we pull it apart, we'll see what state it's in. Let's go over the basics of it. So I don't know how old it is precisely. I hope we'll find some moulding marks as I tear it down, because that's what I'm going to do. Is going to tear it down, give it a bit more of a clean up, more in depth, and then use this partly as an exploratory to satisfy my curiosity, and partly as a bit of an advert for eBay. So you've got these 2 studs here, and there's another 2 around here on the back, and it's basically for a cup holder. Little 2, okay, you can move from back to front. The labels are in alright condition. They're a little bit cracked, but mostly intact. I don't know if you can see the... Yeah, you can. Yeah, the joysticks are a bit mashed and mangled, but they still move. The way they click, it sounds like micro switches in there, so they should be a bit hard to kill at least. There's a bit of a tear on the sticker there, unfortunately. Looks like the seat hatch has come away a bit. Front sticker's alright. Again, a little bit of wear and crack. The Armstrong Tomy sticker's alright. Side sticker's alright. It looks like there were stickers down the sides here. Those are both gone entirely. So I move back and forth. It sounds like the motors are moving well enough. We've got our little battery pack under the seat here. Pull it up slightly. Battery pack's underneath there. I think it's 6-volt lead acid, so sealed lead acid. The only real damage to the plastic is here on the clip for the seat. That's actually just got a big chunk missing there, unfortunately. There's no major cracks that I can tell. Locomotion is a sort of tank drive. We've got 2 rear wheels and 2 sort of furniture casters up the front. So it'll just be a tank drive sort of setup. We've got a mark down here. I think Chad. I believe from the article it's a European variation of a Japanese toy, so it's sort of like a rehousing job. They have put a different carapace on it, so let's see. Chow Hair, made in Taiwan. That's the only marking underneath that I can see. But you can see it's got nice pressings in it, it gives it a nice rigidity. It's still holding itself. There's a little bit of a few cracks there. I don't know if that's a seat, if that's where the join line is, or if that's actual cracks in the plastic there. But we'll find out, we'll find out. So what I'm going to do first is take the arms off. I have suspicion, because if I move these like that, it feels like they're pivoted and sprung. So I'm suspecting there's probably going to be a parallel arm arrangement in there with a one motor that would move two pins that would press in the back corner of the shoulders and push them out. You just push the back corner out to push these in, so probably wouldn't have an awful lot of grip on it, but I think the actual spec is in the manual. Yeah, let's get to pulling this apart a little bit. Nice. Right. All right. More dirt in that one. We've got some inset pads there, which probably rest on, and yes there are, there's a couple of rods there. I don't know if that's the exact mechanism, but we'll find out. Insert arm, remains the instructions there, just little bits. The screws aren't bad on that arm, some of it is only left in the rain a month or so maybe, don't know, it's guessing without knowing. Aside. Let's see, got a nice mechanism there. The whole platform rotates, so I presume that rotates as well. Let's see. Let's take this out, get the battery out, and see what the voltage is in case we want to test anything. Pull that forward slightly. Right, I'm going to need a relatively stubby crosshead screwdriver. Let's go with Old Faithful here. And that's got a little compartment under the seat where you can store stuff if you really wanted, I suppose. There's space under here for more batteries than they have fitted. You can see the colour it should be under here though, and the amount of sun yellowing that's gone on here. I know there's techniques you can use, I think, what was it they use? It's quite a foul chemical, but there is one you can use to sort of bleach the plastic white again. I've seen it used, I know they did it for like classic consoles. I guess you could do it for this if you're willing to take the time to get the labels off. You need quite a big tub of this stuff. Okay. Alright. Nice little spider eggs. Okay, let's hinge one up there. Okay, positive terminal. Negative terminal, I don't think we're going to worry about grounding. 12 volts. 4 amp power. 12 volts, okay, 12 volts is handy. Now what I could do is hook it up to the battery pack, the big battery pack, and see if it's got any life. It's in a bad enough state already, so might as well give it a shot. Some terminal block there, and let's see if we get any life. Whoa! Hello. Let's reverse. Is that the wheels moving or not? Okay, that right wheel's moving, left one isn't. It's not getting a lot of grip. Yeah, left wheel is very inconsistent. It's not happy with that. I'll just pop these arms back on and see if we can get some movement out of them briefly. Well, let's leave one arm on just to have a look-see. Okay. Ooh. Sounds like a clutch at least. Yep. Shoulder should do it as well. There's the pin. Move the arms. Yes, pin pushing it. No life in its eyes. No light, I'm afraid. And unfortunately that is a bit properly fucked. Let's see if we can get that open and bridge a contact or two. See if we can persuade the hand unit to life. There's almost nothing left for the screwdriver to get a hold of. That's pretty bad. That is going to require... Where's it gone? Ah. Penetrating spray. You might wonder why I'm doing this, because I've never seen one of these before, and there's virtually no information that I can find out about them. Except for that one website, and one former eBay listing from like 4 years ago. That's it. It seems like it must be like a very rare toy. If it wasn't a rare toy, there'd be lots more information about them, but there isn't. So I don't know. Were they just like so common that no one ever mentioned them? I don't know. Doesn't seem likely. Anyway, let's see what's underneath. We've also got the top here. Base plates, there's some bits around the arms there, up enough for the whole unit to come out. And the control unit head area, it's a separate section as well. But that's going to have wires going down. I'd rather not disconnect anything. I won't be able to get back together again afterwards. Right, so let's pull the bottom parts here. Fast forward mode, I think. Okay, should all the base ones. There was a few missing, just sitting loose in their holes. So, there's another good use of hard drive magnets though. Getting screws out, plastic things. Feels like it's pinching there, as I missed. Yeah, there is one still in there, just didn't come out. When they start getting rusty, you can't tell them apart from black plastic. Especially when I've you've left your very nice torch indoors and I can't be asked to go in and get it. It's loose all around. Yep. Ooh, hello. There's a few dead spiders. That's very thin wire. Jesus, that's very thin wire. Ah, that's what that black messed up thing underneath the case is. It's actually the charging socket. That's good to know. Okay. Let's see. Can we get enough slack here? Ooh, yes. There we go. That's pretty simple. Okay. Ah, okay. These aren't actually secured in place per se. They're just wedged in between the pressings and the base and the inside of there, so no fixings. No, there's like there's more mess in the left-hand motor than the right, so that's probably what's causing the problem. Also fluff. Lovely fluff. Ah, what's that? Oh, it disengages. There's a wheel, 4 pins, that engages with the back of the wheel, which pops right off. Let's make that, clean that up a bit easier. There's one of the other screws. It's quite a lot of fluff. Laura fluff. That's unbelievable though. This thing's meant to take a child. The size of the motors, they are tiny. They are just bog standard, cheap, basic motors. That's all gearbox. I mean, barely moving. Jeez. Does that come out? No, that's resisting as a plate. It's formed over. Gearbox doesn't actually look that bad. Can't see any. Maybe it's moving, just shifting a little bit or something. Maybe it's an electrical contact thing. Oh, where's that? Let's see. This will not fit. Remnants of some hot glue. That's yeah, hot glue as an electrical insulator. That's toys of the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. Hot glue as an electrical insulator. That's a big metal can jobby there. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, that's a live spider? That's a live spider. Get out of there. If I was in Australia, I'd be dead pretty... Oh, there's a slug. Lovely. Dead spider. Just general worm muck. Yeah. There's a spider. Whoops. Front end looks a bit of nick. I guess it's because there's entryways at the back and things have crawled up off the dirt there. And front looks pretty much intact. It does look like, yeah, that whole shoulder section comes out as a unit. So I might do that next. Let's run at these motors again, I think. Off them. Yeah, they're not quite identical. These are the same pressings though, good reuse of parts. Pressing's the same, they've just got the motors in a different orientation. Nicely thought out though, nicely thought out. I'm glad to see it's not a PCB switch either that's controlling these, it's a simple push contacts, so that's good, nice and durable. Let's see the power on this again. Right, let's see. It's not there's anything mechanically wrong, it must be an electrical problem. See, that one's stopping, and it shouldn't be. I suspect if I hook the meter up to it, I'll find out the volts are dropping off all of a sudden. Of course, what I should really use here are crop clips. Really get some crop clips. There are actually some decent ones as well. Rubbish. Rubbish, I tell you. Make sure that's getting continuity. No, it's not. Well, that'll be why it didn't work the first time. Rubbish crocodile clips. Now that works. Right. 12 volt range. Just one hand, ladies and gentlemen. 12 and then drops off. Well, that's basically functional. What I can't stand is the noise that's coming off these. To complete that sentence, it's just about to run out of space on the camera. Just give it a quick spray with some white lithium grease in there, because even though I'm getting rid of this thing, I can build a better basic framework that uses 2 motors and two casters up the front for my own purposes. I can build one that's more suited to purpose. But yeah, I just put it in there because I can't stand the sound of a screaming gearbox. So with a bit of power on it, much smoother indeed. Now I'm going to put it back together and have a look at the top on the shoulder joint. Okay, I got the base back on. There's still one screw missing, so I wasn't miscounting or nothing. Anyway, the shoulders look like they're held on by a threaded rod through, because there's a rounded end there and a bolt this end. So I've got an 8mm head on that, and I need to put the extension bit on it. That's not long enough. Let's see. The batteries in this thing are end of life. So that's okay. That's okay. Is that turning? That's... oh, okay. I haven't actually undone that one because it's a nylock. I have instead just unscrewed it from the cap bolt that end. So, roll it out. Yep. One bar. Okay, this side looks like the candidate. I may be wrong. Let's see. Which side comes away easiest? No secondary screws, are there? It feels pretty loose. And that's all one big arrangement around that. This much the same. Okay. Oh, pivots. How? this side, so it should be a bit firmer this side. Yes. It's going to be more trouble than I thought. Looks like I've got to unscrew the plate, or the ring, that there's a bit of flexible tube attaches to. Just 1, 2, 3. Then go inside. Tam. 3. 4. 5. 6 and 7. Barely get the screwdriver into the 7th one. Okay. 7 screws to hold on 1 inch of flexible tubing. 7 screws. See, I was going to compliment the guys who made this on pretty efficient use of design of motors and that, but that just that just took away like half of that. A bit grubby there. Okay, that. It looks like if I undo this one to release a return spring. So that spring, intact but quite a bit of rust on it. And then the screwdriver in there. Will that go? No. Let's try this one. There we go. Yep. Okay, I think. No. Is there another one? There is. Other side. I think you're actually supposed to undo these, take this front plate off, and then access these screws, but I'll just about manage it up without doing that. A thin enough screwdriver. There's another one. Are there more? I don't see them. Is it just stuck? Oh. Fine, those two come out as well then. Okay. Then comes off. And yes, there's two more. 2 more screws. That is too big again. Now the bracket on. I've got the camera on a tripod, so I'm sorry I'm not moving it around to show me taking these out, but there we go. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this goes into a circular recessed plate, and it looks like it should pop off now. I think. Come on. No? No, there's something there. I don't want to strain that. There's something in there still. Maybe I've tried to take it off from the wrong side, because I think the whole unit slides in one side or the other. Let's see. Put them there. Let's do the same to the other side. I've tried the screws in there again, they're just not shifting. It's a bit of a shame, but we'll see if we can get his eyes to light up once to get the plastic off it. Okay, got the other side off, and this feels a lot looser, so I think I want a winner here. Yes! There we go. Now I think extract the whole mechanism out of this side now. it's a nice long flex at least, that's good. Yeah, that's why it's hard to currently push it out the other way. It's got rack and pinion on here for adjusting the angle. And there's that screw that fell inside. Don't want that in there. Gum the works right up. God damn, how'd they get so jammed in there already? It fell in and it's just like it's wedged. This is a job for the needle nose pliers. There we go. The wrong side. So, a little bit wet there. Got another one of those small motors on a gearbox. Moves the whole thing, pivots around the arm holes. It uses the arm holes as the pivot. And it moves based on that rack and pinion. So I guess that clicking noise isn't actually a clutch. It's just when it reaches the end of the rack and just starts just running on the end of the rack, which is not very good. But well, it hasn't left any marks. There's a little bit of wear there, but that might just be flashing from the moulding process. It doesn't actually look like it's had a lot of damage there. Must have had a very careful child using it. Anyway, there's the centre. Yet another motor of the same size. And that's not. I thought that was. Yeah. I thought this slug was hot glue on the motor. And it's not. It's a slug. I'm not going to squash him on camera because that would be cruel. I shall take him outside and squash him. Come on. Come in a little blighter. There we go. Let's get rid of you. There. Well, that's been well lubricated. Let's see. I really want to dismantle this mechanism too far, I don't want all the bits to fall out, but it looks like I guessed right. There's a wheel in there with two parallel bars that move apart and inward to control the thing. So that's not bad. It's a pretty simple but effective way of going about it. They're just like chopsticks, really. Now, while that's hanging out the side, that's probably the most slack I'm going to have on the wires. So, leaving that like that, I'm going to lop its head off. Now, let's see. Double check the recording. It's always after a nice ramble that you realise the camera's turned off. We've run out of footage, run out of space for storing the film. With a bit of luck there won't be any screw holes hidden underneath the labels. That feels like it's pivoting around here though, so do we have... Yes. Let's see, can the labels come off intact? Oh yes, the glue has perished a little bit, so it looks like... And they're silver foil. They're silver foil stick-ons, so... That's helpful. So a lot stronger than, say, a transfer would be or something. Carefully, I will kick myself if I tear these. Yes, these very perished around there, so careful, I don't want to give it a sudden tug or anything. I'm hoping someone will buy this who wants to restore it rather than trash it, so, but... Ultimately, I'm not willing to restore it, it's not something I'm interested in doing. I'm fascinated by it, but if someone wants to restore it, that's their own thing, or they might do it to convert it. I mean, there's tons of space inside it. I mean, the whole front section here is pretty much empty. You could jam that full of electronics, batteries, God knows what. do all sorts of crazy things. Okay, let's see. Yeah, they go right through the head unit, straight into the neck there. Put it back down, hold the screws in. Let's crack it up a little bit. Oh, there's the speaker. There's the speaker for the sirens and the loud hailer. Let's see, looks like we've got 6 screws holding this on. Let's see now. Or do we? No screw in there, no screw in there. There's one in that one. I think someone must have had this apart before. There's a few screws missing. You know, couple, you know, one on the underside doesn't mean anything. A screw can fall out, you know, especially if they got a little bit rusty. But there's ones missing on the other top here as well, and that's just a bit. It doesn't seem like the sort of place where you'd expect a screw to just fall out. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I haven't seen any signs of repairs. Well, it may be the case I'm not the first person to try and pull it apart. They may have not wanted to tear the labels, so stopped at an earlier point. And I don't know. You're guessing with these things. I mean, all I know is this was picked up for me by someone. You know, my brother found it. He got it from someone who I don't know who. So it's impossible to tell. It's impossible to tell. Ooh. Screw. Let's see. Pop apart now. Oh, yes. Let's just shift you back around there. Nice sturdy base. Oh, look at that. That's. Doesn't even use proper micro switches. Again, they just formed contacts. I'm going to move the camera for this one. Here we are inside its little head. Look at this. It's not even. There's just fixed pillars for the cups to sit on, so it moves these. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's just a common terminal. Breaking contact? So. Breaking contact. So yeah. In the set position, each of these is actually making contact with the ring. How have they wired that then? That's a bit mashed right? That's why I've got lack of continuity on that one. Actually no, it should be this side. There's a lot of dirt and a little ferrule there for holding that in. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, the eyes react entirely to the microphone, and there's no circuitry in here, so that means all the control gear must be inside there, so you've got to get that open to make the eyes flash. That's a shame. It's a real shame. But quite small. LEDs or bulbs, do you reckon? Bulbs, yeah. Oh, yeah, incandescent bulbs. Of course. Oh, damn, they just broke the plastic. Oops. It's the first bit I've broken. Well, I shall put that little lug in with the parts. That's annoying. I guess some of the plastic is a little bit more brittle than other bits. I don't even wiggle that much. Yeah, the control mechanism is pretty simplistic. Ooh, hello. How many cables we got here? One for the ring. One to each terminal, and there is another one underneath. So, are they actually pressing down to... They are. They're pressing out to another one underneath. So, these actually... Is that just grounds? Let's get the multimeter on this. Okay, I've got it on power again. Unfortunately, the solder joint to the power switch came off. I mean, it's a very clean break. I don't know if you can see that. That's shiny. There's no, with the exception of possibly the speaker, none of the the electrical terminals here, well, there's the speaker and the motors. None of the electrical terminals have through holes for the wires to be soldered through. They're all soldered dead onto the brass. So I guess they don't have the best electrical contacts. But something must have broken loose or cleaned up, because that seems to be operating fine now. It's quite clever the way they've gone about it. I mean, the way it's rigged here, you can only press down, in, left, right, back, forward at a time. You can't really force opposing ones across. And one here is the negative terminal, one's the positive terminal, so it's all about... It's like a mechanical H-bridge. It's literally a cross, actually, not an H, but yeah, depending on where you press it down, I think underneath the contacts are slightly different. No, they're not actually. But in any case, it's got grounded on the top ring, so you press that down. Well, this would actually pressing two of them down. That would be forward motion, of course. So when I press that down, these two contacts are taken to the positive terminal, and the other two terminals to the motors stay at the negative terminal. So when you press them back, now these ones are attached to the negative terminal, and these ones are the positive terminal. So it's just simply, it's actually quite a simple way of doing it without any sort of microcontrollers. I love learning these little tips and tricks. That this simple arrangement is, well, it's not that simple, because you've got all these custom metal pressings here, and this thing is actuated on a spring, and yeah, it seems short circuit resistant, and there's no mechanical way you could really instigate one. Only thing that's confusing me a little bit is that the cables, the lights, these ping out good. That I've put the multimeter across them. The lights actually read okay, so I'm not quite sure why they aren't lighting up, because they run to this as well as to the motors. So actually no, if that one's going there, then that means okay. So yeah, that does have to be on. This has to be switched on, because if that's switched on, then yeah, if that's switched on, then that's providing sort of the ground link. That needs to be on to complete the circuit. But it's quite a nice way of going about it, I think. Yeah, I'm going to throw that back together, and I'm going to have one last go at getting that operational, and yeah, then up onto eBay tomorrow. Okay, so I managed to get one screw out of the handheld mic, and I managed to get the switch just moving, holding that down and moving it back and forth. I thought I may have been mistaken. I thought I heard a come out of the microphone, like at the speaker, rather. Like, it was just, it might have been just squeaking in my hand from the WD-40 or whatever, but yeah, I'm not getting any response, so the only way you're going to get this open is to drill out those screws. You just drill them out really carefully, pop out, and then get some pliers on the remains. That's the only way I can think of getting that open, and that will have to be opened up if you want to get the nice idle functions working again, I think. So it's a shame. That's a shame. But I would have loved to have seen the eyes just light up on this, but I'm not going to dismantle that, because that's going to be getting into a real pain in the arse territory, and someone who wants to restore this, that can be their job. If this doesn't sell though, if it doesn't sell on eBay in a week, then I will start doing interesting things with it, updating it a little bit maybe. But that's only because I don't think I have the heart to actually throw it away. And I'm sure there are like toy collectors out there will be like, no, you must not, you can't possibly do that, you can't start modifying a rare classic toy. But, you know, if it's between getting modified and getting destroyed, going in the bin, to go to the recycling centre and get crushed by a top loader, it's... Well, as I said, there's a huge amount of space in there, and you might be able to do something interesting with it. In the ARM modules, you could replace that with something, maybe, I don't know, if you want to change the actual ones around. It'd be interesting making it a remote control system. You've got enough space back there for some for a larger size of a battery pack, and you've got all this void under here which you could pack with computer gear and wireless routers and all the rest of the Arduino crowd sort of stuff, and yeah, put some digital ones up here that you can break by using the wrong sort of programming and so on. But I don't know if it's not exactly a museum piece, but there's enough good bits there you could turn it into a museum piece. You know, all you really need is, say, one with the right stickers down the side there and some replacement joysticks at the top. I mean, it's physically intact, with the exception of the small clip at the back there. And the stickers are all there. They've all got a bit of crazing on them, but that's like the outer lacquer, so you could... I don't know if anyone's done this, but it seems to me, since the foil print, you could put a new lacquer over and it would seal all the cracks and it wouldn't be obvious anymore. So you could do it up quite nicely, I think. I think you could rescue this, but like I said, if it doesn't go on this week's eBay sales, I don't want to throw it out, and I'm not going to keep it sitting around doing nothing, so either I will start modifying it, or I might take it to the hack space. Unfortunately, the hack space you're likely to end with holes drilled in it everywhere and it turning up in the bin in a week. But yes, please save my robots. Save my robots. Buy it. It's going to go on for like a £5 start, so you can't really lose. Yeah. Let's get you back together and finish the video off. Well, there you go, guys and girls. Got him back together. Forgot to put the centre screws back in on either side of the head. But, put them in a bag, along with the tiny bit of plastic that broke off the lamp retaining clip. But yeah, there he goes, and he's going to go up on eBay tomorrow for a £5 and see if anyone grabs him. A piece of classic children's history that, you know, he needs to look at home. Tomy Armstrong. It's an interesting thing to look around. It's nice looking through the old toys and see how they put them together. And it's, I said, if I had this when I was sort of 5 years old, I would have been the happiest kid in the world. It's a ride-on car with arms. That's just beautiful. Let's see. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. 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 Nah, you're not going to force the arms up. Too much torque behind the gearbox. Right, I'll throw the listing into the description when it's done. Alright, catch you in the next video. Night.